Okay, so hey guys, so today's video is going to be my halfway through the year update of products I want to use up in 2017. I almost didn't record this video today because I wasn't really sure what I was doing later. I did do a whole bunch of crap in the morning and I pretty much just want to stay home now. I was potentially supposed to see my best friend, but there's like too much shit going on, so I'm just like, no, I want to stay home. So I basically texted her telling her, hey, sorry, I'm probably just going to stay home tonight because I'm really tired and I'm going to be seeing my boyfriend on Friday and Saturday. So, and he wanted to hang out today too, and I was like, it's okay. Yeah, just give me one sec. Okay, guys, so let's just jump right in. So I just want to tell you guys before I start showing you, I pretty much did not make that much progress in eye products. And I actually made more progress in lip products than I did eye products, which is crazy. I feel like eyeshadows are so hard to use up, but I actually made a lot of progress on most of my face products, except for blushes. Blushes are so hard to use up, and I still gold myself to use the same blushes that I have for like a year and a half. And blushes just last forever. And I'm wearing most of the products that I gold myself to use up today. I'm not wearing foundation today. I'm only wearing concealer and bronzer and highlight and blush. I don't really care how it's blended because I'm going to be taking it off, and plus you're just going to be seeing me from this angle anyway. And if my highlight looks a little bit dark, it's because I'm wearing Becca's Opal and it's a pretty dark highlight. So anyway, we're just going to jump right into it. So we're going to start off with primers really quick. I only have 2 primers to talk about. Obviously, you guys know I constantly use up... Actually, this is done, I think. Oh, that just went all over my pants. Damn it. Shit. I have to wash these pants. Oh, damn it. Well, actually, that came out pretty easily. Okay. Anyway, you guys know I love this primer. This is the Stila One Step Corrector. It looked empty to me when I was looking at it, but this is my second one that I've actually used up. But usually you know that it's pretty much completely used up if this little pump in here is all the way up. So I think there's still a little bit left in here, but yeah, like I said, this is the second one I've actually used up, so I freaking love it. Obviously you guys could tell if it's my second one. I'm not going to mention powders or anything like that, like loose powders like the Laura Mercier running powder. I use that up all the time, so I don't even goal myself to use that up. And I don't really mention that many concealers because concealers are so easy to use up for me. But yeah, I do like talking about this product because I use it up constantly. And if I don't talk about it in this video, I've talked about it in products I've used up. So yeah, this is the first one. Hopefully you can actually see this eyeshadow on my eyes. It kind of like reflects weirdly, but you can still see it. So anyway, that's the first primer. I love it. I rave about that primer all the time. It's amazing. And then this is a brand new Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer, but I did use up the one that I told you guys that I was going to use up in the last video. I didn't bring in the backlight priming filter because I'm probably going to have to declutter that because it's kind of getting a little bit sticky when I use it, and I didn't use it up. I kind of like was so obsessed with this for such a long time. And since I'm using up this one just to get into my third one, because I do have a backup in my bathroom that I still haven't broken into yet, I probably won't repurchase the Becca Backlight Priming Filter, but I constantly repurchase this because that is hella expensive, and it is a really beautiful primer, but I find that I use the Stila and the Smashbox a lot more now. This is like a really great everyday simple primer if you're going to do simple makeup, if you just want something that's gonna work with every single foundation. This is a solid freaking primer. I love it so much. I use up the Smashbox Primer Water so much. I have another empty bottle in my products I've used up. In this huge bag, I have another empty bottle in here. So I'm on my third one, I believe. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this in the other video. I usually try to re-watch them before I record these, and then sometimes I forget like 2 or 3 things, but they're really things that aren't that important. But yeah, you guys know I constantly go through bottles of these. I'm on like my 4th one, and I'm on my 2nd one of this. So I pretty much like kind of wanted to mention things that I've repurchased primer-wise, because primers are very expensive. So these are the 2 primers. Obviously used up this one, just going to continue to work on using this one up. I also used up a mini sample of it as well because this was a backup that I bought like a couple of months ago. I don't even remember how long ago. I think it was like last year. I think I actually paid full price for this. So I didn't break it out until a few months later. So I just use this as much as I use the Stila. I love this one. So yeah, those are the only primers I have to talk about. And now let's jump into foundations. I'm really excited to talk about foundations. So the first one that I goaled myself to use up is the Tarte Reinforce of the Sea foundation. This one, again, super easy to use up. I feel like I am so low in the actual bottle. I feel like I'm down to here. You guys know I freaking love this foundation. I'm in the shade Fair Neutral. I love anything in the Tarte Reinforce of the Sea line. The only thing I don't like about this is the actual packaging. I feel like the dispenser kind of doesn't disperse the product evenly that much anymore. And I kind of have to shake it out of the bottle now, and it kind of like disperses the product like too much on my hand, and it's like overflow. That's the only thing that's a little bit annoying about a dropper or something that doesn't have a pump. Like, obviously, I prefer things with a pump. Like, I want all my foundations to have a pump. But other than that, I love this for light foundation days. I probably would have worn it today if I decided to wear a foundation today, but I've worn foundation the past few days. I just haven't been. There was like a couple weeks ago where I didn't wear foundation for a week. I was only wearing concealer. And then I wore like a lot of foundation the week after that. So I kind of like going on and off of foundation. Foundation's not an essential for me to wear every day. If I just wear concealer, it's not a big deal. And if I just wear like a face powder. But for my really light makeup days, I love this so much. It's amazing. I love this foundation. It just always looks good. It always looks so natural. It's just such a gorgeous foundation. And then the other one that I goaled myself to use up is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, the Absolute Perfection foundation. This one's in the color Vanilla. You guys know I love this foundation as well. The only thing I hate about it is that it is so yellow. The only thing I really regret about it is not buying it in my right shade. And I really should have went back to Macy's and been like, yo, I need a different shade. But that was when I was very inexperienced with color matching foundation. There's a bug flying around in my room. It's driving me nuts. And like I've said before, I think I've said before on my channel that I tried the sample of this foundation. I was like, oh, it's perfect, and it was in this shade. And then I was like, that's when I used to use samples, because like that's when I actually tested out products before I actually bought them. I was like, oh, it's perfect. And then when I actually bought it, I realized like how yellow it was on my skin. So you guys know usually the way I use this is that I mix it with the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation, because that adds a little bit more coverage, and it also makes it lighter, because this shit is yellow, okay? It's yellow. So I really needed the shade like porcelain or something for my skin tone. So, but I will use this up. Like, I will make it my goal to use this up, because I'm pretty low in the bottle, as you can see right here. That's basically where it is, and there's just a little bit of excess up here, but that's how much I've used of it. So I've made some pretty good progress with this foundation, and I've used up 2 bottles of the Giorgio Armani, and I'm on like my 4th one. I felt like that was not necessary for me to mention, and plus I get it for half price from my mom's, because my mom works at Bloomingdale's, and that's like the only makeup item I can get her to buy me, and it's like half price, and then I just pay her back. It's like $35 for me. So that's why I constantly repurchase that. But I don't know how I feel about that foundation now. I don't know. I really love it. But I just feel like when I apply it with the Real Technique sponge, I'm not in love with the finish sometimes. And that's crazy, because I think I might have found a foundation that I love so much. And it's like it's like a fraction of the price. It's so cheap. And I have been absolutely head over heels obsessed with this foundation ever since I've gotten it. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Dewy and Smooth Oxynoxate Sunscreen Fit Me Foundation. You guys, this is like this, but with more coverage. And it's so natural looking, and it makes your skin look so beautiful. And it's so natural, and I feel like it is kind of similar to the Giorgio Armani feel, but this has a little bit more coverage, and it's just the perfect medium coverage foundation. It does not look heavy at all. It looks so gorgeous on the skin. I'm so obsessed with this. I try to use this whenever I can, and I think 100% I'm gonna be using this up. The only downfall is that it does not have a pump, so I have to like pour it out on my hand. But it looks like I've used like a shit ton of this. And it looks like it's pretty far down. Wow. Yeah, it definitely looks like I'm going to use this up, which will suck. One, it's a really small bottle, but I'm pretty sure this is 1 fluid ounce, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is 1 fluid ounce. It's just in a really small bottle, so it's kind of deceiving. But you guys, if you have dry skin, you need to try this foundation. People rave about the Fit Me line for a reason. The Fit Me products from Maybelline are fucking amazing. Like, they are so gorgeous for, like, people that are first starting out with makeup. This foundation blends out so easily, and it just makes your skin look so smooth and silky and natural. It really does have kind of a silky finish like the Giorgio Armani, and I feel like this is a little bit similar, more similar to it than the L'Oreal True Match Lumi. And yeah, I love the Giorgio Armani, and I am on a new bottle. And you guys know I like use that up all the time anyway, and I don't think I mentioned it in the beginning of the other video that I did, but I am going to add this because I feel like I'm going to use it up, no problem. I'm in the shade 110 Porcelain. I love it. I love it so much. This is definitely my favorite drugstore foundation I've tried so far. It's amazing. Okay, enough about that. And then this one is pretty much done anyway, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in the other video. I also am holding on to my YSL foundation. Now, let me just talk about this one really quick before we get into the YSL. Somehow my computer charger got unplugged. Sorry, but it like adjusts the lighting when that happens, and I'm always kicking it underneath my desk. So yeah, anyway, this one is the Dior Air Flash Spray Foundation, and this one is in the color 100, which is, I believe it's called Ivory. I have barely reached for this, but it's so empty that it's like, that's why I haven't really used it. And I don't think I liked it when I was still using the Beauty Blender when it was so low in the bottle, because it was getting more difficult to use because it was, you know, spraying unevenly. And I think one time I had to mix it with another foundation for it to look good. But I just used it recently, like a couple of days ago, and oh my god, it makes your skin look so gorgeous. I love this foundation. It is so beautiful. And this is my second bottle. And I used to be hardcore obsessed with this foundation. I love it. Like I've said before, this one, the Giorgio Armani and the YSL Touche Éclat foundation, which I did not know that they discontinued like a while ago. And I'm so mad at myself for never repurchasing it, but I decided to repurchase this like last year. And this is when I, you know, paid full price for this, because when I purchased it the first time, I got it during the Vibe sale. So yeah, I love this, and I'll definitely use it up because it's very empty anyway, but I've only probably reached for it like 5 times since I've actually talked about it in that video, because I've been using so many different other foundations, but I do feel like there's still a little bit of product in there. But you guys know I love it. And then the last one that I goaled myself to use up was the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Invisible Coverage Foundation. I actually just wore this for the first time in like a month yesterday. I don't reach for this foundation all that often. When I do, I really do like it. This is a really nice foundation. It's just not one of my favorites. It's just like I reach for the Tarte foundation a lot more over this one, just because this one's a little bit more natural. I do like the coverage of this one. I just don't like the smell, and it's a little bit thicker than the Tarte foundation. It's not heavy, just I don't feel like it lasts as long as the Tarte one, and that's really funny because this is a water-based foundation, and this is the only water-based foundation I've actually tried, and I'm in love with it. The Makeup Forever Water Blend Foundation was the worst foundation I've ever tried in my life. And I really like this one. This is probably the only one that I've kept. This is the only one that I've kept from Makeup Forever, because I originally returned the original HD because I felt like it was making my skin look cakey, but that was when I was using brushes, and you guys know I hate foundation brushes. I only use beauty blenders because I feel like they're so much more natural. But yeah, I don't know. I've never really like made a final decision about this foundation if it's like a favorite or not, but I do like it. Like, it's not a bad foundation, and I will use it up because I like using it, and I do like it. I don't even know where I am with this foundation though, because you can't really tell with the packaging, but it does feel lightweight right now, and I probably will use it up at some point, but I'm not really in any hurry to use it up. And then the last thing I'm just going to add in is the Naked Skin Urban Decay One and Done Hybrid Complexion Perfector. And this one is in the shade Light. I don't think I'm going to have any problems using this up. As you guys can see, I've used probably 3/4 of it already, which really sucks because I love this. It's just really beautiful for those natural summer makeup days where you really don't want to wear a lot of makeup. I was kind of obsessed with this in the springtime. I don't remember when I actually purchased this. I think it was like sometime in the fall or like August. Maybe it was a while ago. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I purchased it while I was still working at Ulta. So that was like in January, and I don't know, I wore it a lot during the springtime. I really love this. This is perfect for people that don't like heavy makeup, but at the same time you could go for this or you could go for the Tarte. These are really amazing for light makeup days. If you want like a really light foundation or like a tinted moisturizer type of product, this is amazing, and it has such nice coverage because it's a hybrid type of product. So you guys know I love that. So that's it for foundation. Now let's move on to concealer. I'm just going to touch base on a couple of them, but concealer obviously is the easiest thing for me to use up. Like I'm pretty much really low with a lot of concealers, but I just wanted to mention like my favorite ones and the ones that I gold myself to use up. Like the Too Faced Born This Way and the Kat Von D I'm pretty low on, and the Maybelline Fit Me as well. So those three I know I'll use up. And I mentioned the Maybelline Fit Me like constantly, that it's like I don't really need to mention it. And the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer is one of my holy grails and I use it up constantly. But this concealer might be giving my Urban Decay a run for its money. I just noticed with the Urban Decay that it is drying. Like it is a very dry formula. I still love it. I still love using it. I just feel like it's a little bit harder to blend out than this one. This concealer is fabulous. This is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Aqua Sealer. So this one is in the shade Fair Light. Okay, I'm sorry that I keep on getting interrupted. But anyway, this is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea. I get like such anxiety when I do this shit. And then I like still think about it because I'm like, oh, I should still stay available for the person. But then I'm just like, you need to let it go, Caitlin. So anyway, I love this because it's so hydrating and it's so easy to blend out. And it really does a great job of lasting on your under eyes and on your skin. It does crease a little bit, but nothing. It does not settle into fine lines at all, which I really love. And the Urban Decay doesn't do that to me either. So I'm going to add this because as you guys could see, I am really obsessed with this concealer because this is one of the only concealers that I got from the Vibe sale. And then the only other new concealer I got was the the Super Stay Maybelline concealer, which is the one I'm wearing today. And this one I'm pretty much already down to here with. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm obsessed with it. So obviously you guys know I love both of these products. They're both amazing. And this has a little bit more coverage than the foundation. So at least they're like different enough for me to say that like they really are really nice consistencies and they're totally different. And then the three, I just wanted to touch base with you guys. This one wasn't even in my products I want to use up, but I just wanted to mention it. This is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser. As you can see, it's basically almost gone. So yeah, this concealer is not very hard to use up anyway, because I really feel like with drugstore concealers, they really need to give you some more fucking products. I'm sorry, but it's really annoying that you have to deal with getting so little products and they dry out so fast. This one I would have to say you get the most product out of because it's like so creamy and it's such an amazing formula. I love this concealer. It's so amazing. This is definitely my favorite drugstore concealer now. It's just so smooth and creamy and it really applies beautifully. I actually love the applicator. It's so nice and soft and you just swipe it under your eyes and on here and everything and it's just amazing. So the only thing I don't like is that when I do put this on when I am doing a no makeup look, it can make my concealer look very dark, that it kind of looks weird if I try to like leave some of the spots that I don't put concealer on, like my actual skin tone. Like the one I use today does not make my skin as dark at all compared to this one. This one kind of oxidizes a lot more, but I love it under my eyes when I'm wearing like foundation and stuff. It's amazing. So, and then the other one that I did goal myself to use up is the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. As you guys can see, I made a ridiculous amount of progress on it. So yeah, I'm almost done with this one. So I almost didn't mention it, and then I forgot, then I grabbed it and I was like, oh shit, I really need to mention this one because as you can see, yeah, I finally was able to use up a full one because the first one I got, I stopped using because it expired. I loved it, but I didn't use concealer as heavily then as I do now. Like this one was my first high-end concealer, and this was the first concealer I really fell in love with. But as you can see, I've used it a crap ton. And then the last one is the Becca Aqua Luminous Perfecting Concealer, and this one is in the shade Porcelain. And I like this concealer. It's a really nice concealer for no makeup days, and I'm pretty much almost done with this one as well. I haven't used it for a while, and I actually really like the applicator. It's like a really nice, angled applicator, so it's really nice under the eyes. And I really like it, but at the same time, again, Becca products are very expensive, and I feel like for the cost of this, I feel like I wanted it to have a little bit more coverage. Like it is kind of similar to this in the fact that this one I believe is water-based as well, because this one was based on the Aqua Luminous foundation and this one was based on the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation, obviously. But this one has a lot more coverage than this one does. But I really love this one for no makeup days. But I don't need such an expensive concealer for no makeup days. I can just use my drugstore concealers. So I will not be repurchasing this one. The other two, the MAC and the Instant Age Rewind and the Tarte, I probably will repurchase them in the future. Right now I really can't because I don't have the money for them. But hopefully at some point, definitely the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind because that one's cheap, but I would not repurchase this again. And I wouldn't repurchase the Becca Backlight Priming Filter because that's too expensive as well. Alright, now let's move on to face powders. I made some really amazing progress in face powders. I'm very proud of myself, but at the same time, I grabbed for just these three face powders, the majority of the time that I do my makeup. I don't really grab for my loose powders anymore. I'm always grabbing for pressed powders because I have dry skin. It's only when I'm like really in the mood to do like full coverage then I will go for like loose powder like my Laura Mercier or my NARS, but they're not like that heavy, but I just prefer using pressed powder. So the first one obviously is my MAC Really Skin Finish Natural in the shade Medium. This is pretty much my holy grail powder, and I use it so much. And the girl that I talked to in my last products I've used up video, like a couple of months ago, she told me that I basically are like losing my voice. I had already hit pan on this like a while ago, but as you guys can tell, I did make a lot more progress. I'm still like trying to hit like the metal part in there. But I'm pretty sure I have already. I can see like pockets of it in the middle of it. So as you can tell, like this is how much that I've used. And I really still feel like MAC products just last forever. Their baked products last such a long time. But as you can tell from the side, it is very flat in the pan. So, like, hold on one sec. Alright, sorry again, my friend is texting me. So anyway, I did tell her that I'm going to stay home today. I might see her tomorrow with my boyfriend. So anyway, this is the powder, and I pretty much grab this on an everyday basis. I'm wearing this today. This is the only powder I took with me to stay at my boyfriend's house. This is the only powder I took with me to stay at my best friend's house. I take it everywhere because it's so travel friendly because it has such a hard outer packaging that like it's not going to get damaged. So that's why I love bringing this anywhere that I travel to. I'm pretty sure I brought the Giorgio Armani with me when I went to my cousin's wedding because I wanted like a more luxurious powder for a more special occasion. But this is the powder I use on an everyday basis. So as you guys can see, I am probably almost going to be done with this. It's probably going to last me the rest of the year, honestly. So this was well worth the purchase because it is very well loved. I've gotten this like a year and a half ago, and since it's lasted me almost 2 years, that's really awesome. So I love this. And then the other one that I hit pan on, of course, is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Powder Foundation in the color 2. You guys know I have a serious obsession with this powder. This is probably my holy grail powder because this one is so lightweight and it does not leave a powdery consistency on your face at all. It just feels like silk. It's the most lightweight powder you'll ever use. It just feels like nothing on your face, and that's why this one's my favorite. I still love the MAC, but this is how much progress that I've made in it. Look at that. Isn't that insane? I am probably going to be heartbroken when I actually use this up because it's so expensive. It's so expensive. So what I want to ask you guys, this is like my #1 question in this video. Please let me know if you know of either a cheaper alternative from Sephora or Ulta. It can be in the $20 range to $30 range, or if you guys know a serious dupe that is like a drugstore powder for like 10 bucks, please let me know. Please let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts on what a dupe is for this. Not saying that I wouldn't purchase it in the future, but I probably wouldn't purchase it until the Sephora Vibe sale rolls around, which is in like November. So I probably won't repurchase it once I do use it up, but I have the MAC powder that I can still use. I try to refrain myself from using it so much, but I really can't help myself sometimes, and I really, really, really love it. Like, this one and the MAC one are the two I alternate on an everyday basis. So it's amazing. I love it. I really, really love it, and I need to stop swatching it, but I love it. And then the last one is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Airbrush Silk Pressed Finishing Powder. I love this one as well. The only thing about this one is that it can look a little bit heavy if you use a lot of it. This one is definitely the most, like, powdery, like, meaning that it has, like, the most thickest consistency. So as you guys can see, I have hit pretty major pan on it recently. This is actually all the pan that I've hit on it the past month. Like, I think at the beginning of last month, I had a very light panage on it, and now this is how much progress I made through it throughout the month. So that's pretty good. And it's beautiful. It makes your skin look flawless. That's why I really love using it. It really does blur your pores. It is a gorgeous powder. This is like my favorite products from IT Cosmetics besides the IT Cosmetics Super Hair Mascara. I'm obsessed with that mascara. I love it so much. That's probably my holy grail mascara. Like, I love it. Like, I don't own a lot of IT Cosmetics, but the products that I have from them are solid, amazing products. Like, I really know how to pick out the ones that have great reviews, and I'm like, those are the ones I'm going to stick with. So this one was definitely my, like, #1 favorite products from them besides the mascara. I love it. But just be careful with it. You don't want to go too heavy-handed with it. Me, I like constantly re-dip the brush. So, yeah. Let's continue with face products because I feel like we're on a roll with those. The only bronzer that I have to talk about besides this one, because this was the only other one I goaled myself to use up. Yeah. I mean, I'm probably going to use this up anyway, but I've mentioned this like 10 gajillion times. This one is the Marc Jacobs Instamark Dreamer Filter. And I've showed you guys in my last update that I did hit major pan on it, and I probably have, you know, butchered the shit out of it, but I love it so much. As you guys can see, that's how much progress that I have made in this powder. So you guys can see that right here. See how much I've used of it? Isn't that freaking insane? I love it. This is my favorite bronzer to use, even though I, like, grab for the butter bronzer a hell of a lot. For everyday use, like that one and this one are my two, like, natural everyday bronzers, and sometimes I grab the butter bronzer over this one. But this one is definitely my absolute 100% go-to when I need something really natural, but something that is going to blend out super easily. Because this one blends out a lot easier than the butter bronzer, because the butter bronzer is very natural, and the butter bronzer also doesn't last as long as this one. I can always tell that the butter bronzer kind of fades after like a few hours, but I do really love it because it's very easy to apply. But this one has more pigmentation, and it's a lot more like of a natural color. Like the butter bronzer is a little bit more orange, but it's not like an orange. It's like a camel color. But this one is just, it's so gorgeous. This is definitely my favorite thing I've ever gotten from Marc Jacobs. I really regret buying the eyeshadow palette that I got from him, but this was definitely 1,000% worth it. Like this and the Giorgio Armani powder foundation, these are my two like absolute favorite powder high-end products. They're amazing. And I have made a lot of progress on this side as well, but I was more goaling myself to use up the bronzer because obviously you guys can see I've made a crap ton of progress on it. So yeah, I love it. And this side, yes, as you can see, there's a pretty big dent in there. And I probably will hit pan on it at some point. So yeah, this product is so well loved from me. I love it so much. And now let's just talk about the highlighters because the blushes are shameful. So let's talk about the highlighters first. Champagne Pop. Okay, obviously the only two I'm going to be talking about are Becca's Champagne Pop and Becca's Opal because you guys know Becca highlighters are like my ride or dies, but I have so many new highlighters now. It's been very hard for me to use Champagne Pop. But Champagne Pop kind of got damaged just from sitting in my makeup collection and me kind of like not sitting it properly in my collection. I had hit major pan on it, but it's, as you can see, like the pan was already worked on in the middle, but now it's just like kind of shattered. It's still usable. I can still use it, but I probably will end up decluttering. I can't do that because it's gonna move all the pigment around, but I just wanted to show it to you really quickly. You guys know Champagne Pop's my ride or die highlighter. I love it so much. But I haven't used it in a while because I've been using so many other new highlighters. And since I have the backup of Champagne Pop in the Jaclyn Hill face palette, it wouldn't break my heart if I actually did declutter this. The only reason why it would be like so nostalgic for me is because this is the first highlighter I've ever hit pan on before. But yeah, basically the dent was like this big in the actual circular center of the pan. Like that's how much of the product that I've actually used. So yeah, that was that. And then the other one is Opal, and this was the other one that I goaled myself to hit pan on, and I actually did, and I was so thrilled when I hit pan on it. This is like such a gorgeous highlighter. As you can see, I am wearing it today. I'm not wearing it over foundation. I love, obviously, highlighters look a lot better over foundation, but as you can see, it's still popping without foundation, and it's just, oh, it's so pretty. Like, it's just so pretty. I love Becca highlighters. They're amazing. So I was super excited to hit pan on this one because this is my other, like, holy grail highlighter. So that's what it looks like. And that's the progress I made on it. As you can see, as you can tell from the mirror, it is well loved. So love this as well. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention one more bronzer. This is the Galactic Beauty matte bronzer in the shade Cabo. And I did goal myself to hit pan on this, but I actually haven't used it in quite a while. And I don't know what it is about Galactic products, but I feel like they kind of develop like a rough kind of like film on top. Because I'm pretty sure when I first got this that it didn't look like this. But what I've noticed is that the ones that I had purchased from Rite Aid have like this weird like air pocket kind of thing going on the top of the actual product. Like the Galactic blush that I got in Milan. And the thing that annoys me is that Galactic is not inexpensive. And I really love their face products. I am a huge fan of their face products. I don't like their lipsticks, but their face products are really beautiful. And I really like this bronzer, but I just feel like this bronzer is very pigmented. So I've been kind of shying away from it in the summertime because I want something a little bit lighter. But I probably will start using it again probably like tomorrow or Saturday, you know. But I just haven't grabbed for it recently for the past couple of weeks just because I feel like it's very pigmented. But I feel like it's kind of feeling a little bit rough in the pan. Like it still swatches really nice right here. But I don't know. It just like, it doesn't feel buttery. It feels very rough, and that just, it's weird to me. I don't know if, like, because I definitely did not get this a year ago. I've definitely got this, like, I don't even know, maybe, like, in, like, last winter, so it's only been, like, 8 months or something. So it really shouldn't start going bad like this early. Please let me know if you guys have had that experience with Galactic products. I've noticed that with this, and I've noticed it with the Star Blush in Milan. I didn't really notice it with the highlighter or the blush because I accidentally shattered both of those. Well, actually, when my mom threw my makeup out, that shit got damaged. But, yeah, just let me know. I'm, like, mulling over all the other highlighters I need to use in my head. I'm like, I should use the Mary Luminizer. I'm probably going to use that tomorrow, actually, because that one is gorgeous. So yeah, that's it for highlighters, and now let's get into blushes. I only have 2 blushes to talk about. The first one is the NARS blush in the shade Madly. You guys, this is probably the only blush that I've made a lot of progress on, but I still have never hit pan on it. I'm wearing it today. I grab for this blush all the time, you guys. Like, if I would tell you there is not a more well-loved blush in my collection, it's this one. Because this is like a blush that I grab for and use at least twice a week, if not more. Sometimes I just have a love affair with it, and I don't know what other blush I'm going to use. I constantly grab for it because it just works with everything. It's just such a pretty blush. And as you can see, I'm wearing it today. It's a little bit faded because, again, I'm not wearing foundation, so bear with me. But it's just a really, really gorgeous color, and NARS is so smooth. Like, I can tell, like, this blush I've had a lot longer than, like, Galactic bronzers and blushes, and it still has that same buttery feeling. So I don't know, guys, like, I don't know what the deal is with the Galactic bronzer, but I can see that I have made, like, progress on the middle. Like, you can tell it's been used before, and I can feel, like, if I press down, you can feel the pan. Maybe I'll hit pan on it by the end of the year. I don't know. Like, blush takes forever to hit pan on, man. And then the other one is the Becca Mineral Blush in the shade Wild Honey. Again, no progress. No progress. I don't think I've used this blush in a few weeks. I've had my own obsession with that ColourPop blush for a while, and I finally went back to Madly today, and I used like an Urban Decay blush yesterday. This is more of my fall blush. This is like my Holy Grail fall blush. And I feel like the Becca blushes kind of start to smell a little bit if you've had them for a while. But I've only had this like a year, I'm pretty sure, like, or like a year and a half. You're not supposed to keep these past 6 months, but whatever. They're expensive. I'm going to get my use out of them. That's like 6 months after opening, you know? Like, it's not like it smells that bad. I do notice, like, some of them smell a little bit, but this one looks okay. And, like, it's not like I have, like, an allergic reaction. Like, I feel like it's kind of the smell that I get from my brush rather than the actual pan. Like, it does look like I've used this blush a lot, like, because it's, like, you know, further down in the pan. But Becca blushes are so damn pigmented that you really don't need a lot of products that it's pretty hard to hit pan on them. So that is it for blushes, and now we're just going to talk about eyeshadows and lipsticks, and that's it. Alright, so now let's move on to eyeshadows. We're going to talk about the ones that I've made progress on, and then we're going to talk about the ones that I haven't. I think there's only one eyeshadow in here that I actually hit pan on that I hadn't hit pan on before. So we're just going to talk about my Makeup Geek single shadows really quickly, and these are, there's only 4 eyeshadows in here, obviously, that I've hit pan on, and I'm trying to hit pan on this one, but we'll talk about that one in a minute. So these are all Makeup Geek shadows. The first one I wanted to mention is Vanilla Bean, and you guys know this is like one of my go-to favorite brow bone highlights ever. As you can tell, I love it. So as you can see, I've gotten through a lot of progress on the center of the pan, and I will probably use this eyeshadow up, so I really don't have any concerns about using it up. The only thing is that I feel like this is too light. You know, I really do love it, but I feel like if it was a little bit more pigmented, I would feel like it would like make the brow bone pop a little bit more. That's why I like Mirage a little bit more, or Makeup Geek's Max Blanc type, but this one is still a really gorgeous one. And I don't find that Vanilla Bean and Blanc type are really like dupes for each other. I think that Blanc type has a lot more pigment. And then the second one is called Makeup Geek's Peach Smoothie. I think I hit pan on this after I used up Makeup Geek's Peaches and Cream and the Manny MUA palette, which I will show you in just a minute. But this was like my go-to transition shade until I found a new one, which I will show you guys in a minute as well. But this was my go-to for a while. until I got a ColourPop one. But as you guys can see, hit major pan on it because, yeah, I was using it a lot as a transition shade and also as like a, I really love this as a transition shade in general. It's not like I just used it just because of that. I really love using it for like a transition shade for warm looks. So that one is Peach Smoothie. And then the third one, obviously, is Makeup Geek's Creme Brulee. And that's how much I've hit pan on it since I have showed you guys my progress at the beginning of the year. I haven't really grabbed to it in a while, but you guys know this is like my favorite crease shade. I love it so much. And I still have my backup of it sitting in my bathroom. So whenever I'm able to use it up, I'll let you know. But I'm pretty sure I'll be able to use it up by the end of the year, hopefully. I am going to be going back to work and school, so I'm going to be using a lot more of my natural eyeshadows. So yeah, that one is Creme Brulee. And then the last one that I had hit pan on is Makeup Geek's Rapunzel. This one I'm pretty sure I said I hit pan on in the beginning of the year, and this is how much I've hit pan on it since then, which is not that much, you guys, but I do use this a shit ton on my inner corners. I don't think I've used it on the lid in a while, because I just have way too many lid shades. It's ridiculous, and I still don't know if this, like when I actually look at it, it looks okay. Just like the eyeshadow's like transferring, but I don't really care. So this one is Rapunzel, and it's just this eyeshadow is so damn pigmented. Like, this is insane, like how pigmented this one is. Like, I wish all of the Makeup Geek shadows were like this one. It's so amazing. I actually forgot to bring my full shadow palette in here, but I didn't hit pan on any of them, but I will still go get it. But this one is just, it's so easy to use because it's so pigmented, and that's why I haven't been able to hit pan on this one right here, and this one is called Makeup Geek Shimma Shimma. What is crazy is that I had Rapunzel for a less amount of time than I had Shimma Shimma, but then I had like my own obsession with Rapunzel for a long time. But this is like the same deal. Like, this one is super freaking pigmented. Like, look at that. And these are so easy to apply because they're just, again, let me not, like, make a huge dent in it. Like, no matter how much I swatch this, it's still so hard to get it to hit pan. I probably will hit pan on it by the end of the year, but this one is Shimma Shimma right here. Like, they're just so beautiful. It's really hard to hit pan on those. And then the other ones that I had goaled myself to use up, oh yeah, the other one that I made a lot of progress on that I haven't hit pan on yet, but I do feel like I'm hitting a lot of the center, is Makeup Geek's Cupcake. As you can see that there's a pretty big dent in the center. I use this constantly when I do pink looks. This is like my go-to crease shade for that. So that's why I've used this a crap ton. And I do see that I've made a lot of progress on it. I really wanted to hit pan on this one in Shimma Shimma before the video, but I haven't worn a pink look in like a week or so. And I grab First Say I Do by ColourPop a crap ton over this one sometimes, but I still love using this one. So the only ones that I had goaled myself to use up as well is Frappe and Latte, but I do use these when I can, but I still haven't hit pan on them. And then the only other one from Makeup Geek I'm pretty sure is Desert Sands and I believe Cocoa Bear, but Cocoa Bear, it's so hard to use up. Like, it's so pigmented that it's so easy to apply. And then I did mention Nylon All That Glitters and Soft Brown from MAC, but I didn't hit pan on any of them. I do make a little bit of progress on the middle of these, but I don't reach for these enough to actually hit pan on them. So, but they are gorgeous eyeshadows. I love Nylon. It's such a gorgeous inner corner highlight. And All That Glitters. My right hand swatches are horrible because I swatch them with my left hand. So, that is it for my everyday go-to palette. And then the only other Makeup Geek shadow I wanted to mention, like I said, is the Manny MUA Makeup Geek Beaches and Cream eyeshadow right here. I pretty much was almost done with it when I showed you guys in the first video in the beginning of the year, and now I'm just showing you the empty pan. You guys know I love Peaches and Cream. I actually just repurchased it a couple weeks ago, so I've just been using that one, but I don't think I'm going to go through it as fast as I did for this one, but this is the only eyeshadow I've ever, used up in an actual palette, but that's because it's my everyday transition shade, and I've used up 2 pans of it before. So yeah, that's why I didn't repurchase it right away, because I had it in this palette. So that's the only other Makeup Geek shadow. And then I just wanted to mention just one ColourPop eyeshadow, because I think I'm going to add it to ones I'm going to hit pan on, because I really do think I am going to hit pan on this eyeshadow. This one is ColourPop's Firefly, and this has been my go-to transition shade over like Peaches and Cream or Peach Smoothie. It's just such a pretty natural eyeshadow, and it has enough pigment in it to be a really gorgeous transition shade. Like, it's a little bit darker than my skin tone, and I feel like it's really perfect. And I use this a lot, you guys, like a lot. And I can definitely feel the center of the pan in there. So I think this one is not going to be hard for me to hit pan on it by the end of the year. So I am going to add this one. I'm not going to add anything else because eyeshadow is just so hard to hit pan on. I don't think there's anything else in this ColourPop palette that I would go myself to use up. And then just Peaches and Cream. But you guys know I love Peaches and Cream. I'll probably make a lot of progress on that as well. That's like my 4th single shadow of that. And let's just go grab my other palette really quick. Okay, and then I just wanted to touch on the foiled shadows from Makeup Geek. I haven't hit pan on any of them. The only one I had ever hit pan on was Makeup Geek Starry Eyed. And you guys know I had to replace it with another one because it was like my go-to inner corner highlight. And then I had like the rest of the collection, so I never really used it as much as I did the first time. And like I said, I felt like it was going to be easy for me to hit pan on these, but I just don't grab for them as often. I do really use them as more as inner corner highlights because I think they're gorgeous on the inner corners. Sometimes I'm like way over here. But sometimes for lid shades, they're a little bit difficult for me to rotate. But again, since I'm going to be working and going to school, or hopefully working because I'm waiting for these jobs to call me back, that it's been pretty difficult to hit pan on. But you know, I've made big dents in I'm Peachless, Mai Tai, Blacklight is one of my favorite dual chrome shades. And then Pegasus, Fantasy, this one Starry Eyed, Whimsical, Magic Act, and In the Spotlight. So those are the ones I'm still going to go myself with. And Highwire and Daydreamer. So yeah, I mean, it's not like I haven't used them. Like these are very well loved eyeshadows from me, but it's just hard to keep certain eyeshadows in my rotation because I have so many. And I just went back to an old school palette today, so I'm trying to go back to using my old school palettes the next couple of weeks because I really have been using a lot of my newer eyeshadows. So now we're just going to talk about 2 palettes. You guys have seen this one in every single Products I Want to Use Up video for me. This is the Too Faced Natural Eyes palette, you guys. I haven't made any progress on this palette. It is very hard to hit pan on a Too Faced eyeshadow. And since I haven't really been that much of a fan of Too Faced the past few months, I haven't really, like, been inspired to use their stuff that much. I mean, I do use their stuff, but when I do, I just feel like, you know, that I feel like there's some things that are a little bit better. Silk Teddy and Nudie are the only ones I've made progress on. Silk Teddy, as you can see, there's a big-ass dent in there. I'm just trying to hit pan on it at some point. Basically, every time I use this palette, I only use Silk Teddy on the lid. I don't use any other lid shade. And then I usually use Honey Pot or Push Up on the inner corners. So I'm wearing Nudie in the crease today. Then I darken up the crease more with Cashmere Bunny. Then I used Silk Teddy on the lid, and then I just used Heaven on the brow bone, and then I just popped Honey Pot on the inner corners, and then I just smudged a little bit of Nudie on the brow bone, on the lower lash line. So I just did a pretty simple look because I was getting ready at like 9:30 this morning, and I did want to wear some makeup today because I wasn't planning on going to the gym because I had a dentist appointment, and then I went to go pick up my car. So I was like, since I was planning on filming this video and I wasn't sure if I was seeing my friend, I was like, might as well film the video if I still have the makeup on. But yeah, I have not really touched like Erotica and Chocolate Martini in a long time. Usually when I do use this palette, it's basically these 3 shades and these 4 shades here. So that's 9 out of 12. 9 out of, wait, it's not 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You are tired, Caitlin. Like, you need to just chill. So, yeah, for this Silk Teddy shade, I don't know whenever I'm going to hit pan on it. It is a gorgeous eyeshadow. That's when, you know, Too Faced cared about their actual pigments and cared about their actual eyeshadows, and now I just feel like they're a sellout. Yeah, they just don't care about their customers anymore, so I'm really not a huge fan of them anymore. But I do love this palette, and I will continue to use it as much as I can. But yeah, this is like the first time I actually went back to it in a while, because I have not touched this palette in like a month or so. So, yeah, I really like it, but yeah. It's not one of my favorite palettes anymore. And then the other one that I goaled myself to try and use up is the Tartelette in Bloom palette. Not really to use up, but I think I only goaled myself to use up a certain eyeshadow or hit pan on it, not use up. Like, come on, when am I going to use it up? And again, I really have had trouble on rotating these eyeshadows in my rotation. I do want to go back to using this at some point. I love this eyeshadow palette, and I honestly just get upset when I'm not able to rotate these eyeshadows because I really love them. So this one is my Tartelette in Bloom palette, and the shade that I wanted to hit pan on is Flower Child. But I didn't do that. I mean, these eyeshadows are amazing. And these two, I feel like, are the only two that I made any progress on. But Flower Child is, like, my favorite eyeshadow to use as a transition shade in this palette. As you can see, it is very well loved. And then Funny Girl, as you can see, is well loved as well. It's kind of pretty similar to the Silk Teddy shade. But yeah, I love this palette so much. So I wouldn't be surprised if I tried to hit pan on it once I start going back to school and I'm using a lot more natural palettes, because I'm just going to be concentrating on using palettes the next month. I'm not going to be rotating my single shadows as much. It's just because I had like a hardcore obsession with the ColourPop eyeshadows for a long time that I was kind of neglecting my eyeshadow palettes. And now when I look through my collection again and actually look at my eyeshadow palettes, I'm like, I have a lot of amazing eyeshadow palettes that I need to use again. Okay, now we're just going to go through the ColourPop eyeshadows that I've hit pan on. The ColourPop eyeshadows for me are super easy to hit pan on because I feel like sometimes they cheap out on how much they actually put in the pots, which is a little bit annoying, honestly, but at the same time, they're only $5 eyeshadows, so yeah. So I think these are all of them. The first one is ColourPop's Ibiza, that gorgeous turquoise shade. This is a discontinued shade, and I'm probably going to have to get rid of it. Oh, yeah. That's really dry. Yeah, we're going to have to get rid of this. It's like my favorite eyeshadow to use as a base, but I can feel that this is pretty dried out. It's not half as pigmented as it used to be. This is basically like my favorite turquoise eyeshadow of all time, and I was so upset when they discontinued this because they really didn't make a color similar to this. I might have to pick up a turquoise eyeshadow at some point so I can use it as a base because I love blue eyeshadow on my lid in the summertime. I live in like pink and blue lids and purple outer corners because I wear a lot of those kind of colors in my clothing. Okay, then this one is Flower Child, sticking with the colorful colors. You guys know that I changed my mind about this eyeshadow. I used to not really like it, and now I absolutely am obsessed with it. I love it. I grab for this eyeshadow quite a lot, actually. I definitely use this ColourPop eyeshadow, like colorful eyeshadow, the most. There was a point where I wasn't really using them like after New Year's, and then I went through like a rotation of using them again, and then I used like all of them again, and now I haven't really used a lot of them except for like the newer eyeshadows. But there's some eyeshadows that I haven't grabbed for in a while, but this one I do reach for a lot when I wear like green outfits. Then the next one is ColourPop's Cricket. This one I did really love using with a lot of my purple looks, but also this one was very easy to hit pan on, and It is a really pretty purpley shade. I'm just swatching some of the colorful shades just because they're so gorgeous. And you guys know I can't resist swatching ColourPop. They're just so gorgeous. This is a really pretty purple shade. Again, I love them. But that one was pretty easy to hit pan on because I feel like this one didn't really have that much product in it. Same thing with this one. This is the most recent one that I had gotten. This one is ColourPop's Moonshine, and you guys know that I got this in my haul that I did in like January or February, and I hit pan on this, and I've only used this on my lid maybe 3 or 4 times since I've gotten it. That's how like pathetic I am using lid shades, you guys. Like, it's really hard for me to rotate eyeshadows. I love this shade. It's gorgeous. But again, it was pretty simple to hit pan on it. And I can tell how much more buttery this one is than the Ibiza shade. Look how pretty. Like, come on. It's like brown with gold glitter in it. But again, it was super simple to hit pan on this. Then the other one is my beloved Kathleen Light shade. You guys know this is one of my favorites. I'm probably going to have to get rid of this one very soon. This one, oh yeah. Yeah. You can just tell the difference, like, on that they do feel dry and tacky, but look at it. Look at that shade. It's so beautiful. I love it so much. I used to have a hardcore obsession with this. I haven't worn it in quite a while, but again, when you have so much eyeshadow, it's so hard to rotate your eyeshadows, you guys. Like, it is not easy. So I love this, but I probably will have to get rid of this one and start using the new one, because I've had a backup in my bathroom like forever and I haven't cracked into it. Okay, then the next one is ColourPop's On the Rocks. And this, why do I keep on saying ColourPop? You guys know they're all ColourPop eyeshadows. And this one is a really beautiful bronze, but this one I feel like is pretty dry as well. I mean, it feels pretty creamy, actually. That one's a pretty creamy one. Look how gorgeous. I can't with ColourPop. I just need to rotate all of these again. Like, I love them so much. That one definitely feels more creamy, but at the same time, that one's a pretty old one. And then the same thing with ColourPop's Game Face. This one's a really gorgeous ultra metallic. Yeah, that is pretty dry. That's pretty dry. Kind of feels the same with Kathleen Lights. But again, you can get that gorgeous pigment out of it. And I just feel really bad like getting rid of it. As you can see, I've used like a lot of that. That one's pretty flat. This one was definitely one of my all-time favorites besides Kathleen Lights. And then the last one is ColourPop's Waddles, which I have not used their matte shades in a long time. I had a pretty big obsession with this one. I used it on my lid a lot, and I would use it on my brow bone, but that's the other one I hit pan on. So this one is a satin finish, and this one is one of my newer ones. So, oh, it's so pretty. It's like such a unique color. It's like a gorgeous, like, pinky, satiny color. So pretty. So those are all the ColourPop eyeshadows that I've hit pan on. And now we're just going to touch base on the lipsticks I goaled myself to use up. These are the original 4 that I had talked about. And I actually did end up using a mini lipstick up. I am super proud of myself, but I will mention that at the end. So the first 3 are the MAC matte lipsticks and the amplified lipstick. This one is the shade Honey Love, and I'm just going to show you guys side by side my progress on them. This one is Honey Love, this one is Velvet Teddy, and then this one is Blankety, and this one is the amplified finish. So what's really funny is that I've had Honey Love longer than the other 2, and the other 2 are a little bit more well loved by me. So this one is Velvet, this one is Honey Love. As you can see, Honey Love is like the tallest tube, and then this one is Velvet Teddy, and this one is Blankety. Oh my god, I'm so tired. I just need to get through this video. So this one is amplified, and this one is called Blankety. It's so freaking gorgeous. And then this one is Velvet Teddy, which is like my everyday lovely go-to nude. I love that one so much. And then this one is Honey Love. So, and I forgot to grab ColourPop, so snap. Damn it. So these 3 are my favorite go-to nudes. I probably will use up Blankety at some point because, as you can see, I've made a crazy amount of product on it. Crazy amount of progress on it, and this one was the last one I picked up. So pretty much Velvet Teddy and Blankety are pretty much at the same level. Blankety's a little bit taller, but Velvet Teddy is my absolute favorite MAC lipstick. And this one is like amazing for an everyday nude. And then Honey Love, let me just compare it to Velvet Teddy. And these two, this one, Honey Love, is a little bit less used. Yes, it is used, but I just wear Velvet Teddy more often. But I do wear Honey Love when I can. I love this color. It's amazing. I just want to say I love Honey Love all the time. And then the other one is the one I'm wearing on my lips today. This one is NARS's Raquel. This is the NARS Audacious Lipstick in the shade Raquel. As you guys can see, I pretty much am on the A right now because usually this says NARS, but obviously it just says R's right now because I wore it down to the A. So that is the color. It's a really gorgeous, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's such a unique nude. It's so gorgeous. And I feel like I'm not going to have any trouble using this up, to be honest. I think I can do it. I haven't worn it as much since I made that video. I probably have only worn it a couple of times. My lips look weird. But at the same time, this is super creamy. That kind of like the corners of your mouth are a little bit wet, so it's like really hard to actually apply it again, but actually that really helped. But it's such a gorgeous shade, and I don't really wear the NARS Audacious lipsticks that much at all. I don't really wear Bridget that much at all. This is the one I wear if I do wear a NARS lipstick. Those are the only two that I have, and I love it, but for some reason I don't really grab for it that much, but I've just rotated my YSL ones again, and I don't wear those that often, so I feel like with lipsticks, I'm able to rotate them easier than eyeshadows, which is crazy to me, because I used to be so overwhelmed with lipsticks, but now since I'm decluttering a lot of lipsticks, and a declutter video will be coming up, that I feel like it's just easier for me, so I probably will end up wearing this a lot more. And then the other one I added in was the Bite Beauty Luminous Cream Lipstick in the shade Salute. I don't grab for this one that much, but since, like I said, I kind of dented it by accident, it's kind of worn down all the way to the B, so I feel like this one won't be that hard to use up as well. And they smell delicious. I love the scent of the older Bite Beauty ones. I wish they brought this scent back, but I love the newer formula more than this one. So I grab for those over this one usually, but I still like it. It's just a little bit more drying to me, but it is a really pretty nude shade. And then two liquid lipsticks. The first one is Kat Von D's Lolita. And this one, I really do feel like it's pretty dried out, which is kind of crazy. I mean, when I swatch it, it swatches really nicely. But when I put it on my, like when I actually dip into it, there's not that much product that comes out. So I will update you guys on the progress on that one. And then the last one is the Dose of Colors liquid lipstick in the shade Truffle. I feel like this one is pretty dried out as well, which is kind of crazy to me. Because I really don't grab for this one all that often. I mean, I do really like it, and I do reach for it when I can. And it's very pretty. It's like a little bit lighter than Kat Von D's Lolita 2. So I just feel like, again, it has that same like dried out kind of feeling on my lip. And I'm just like, it's probably time to get rid of it. And then the last one I wanted to talk about, I put it in my declutter bag, so it's going to take me forever to get to it. I think it's on the bottom. It has to be on the bottom. All the freaking lip products fall to the bottom. There's so many lip products in here that I'm getting rid of. That's why I'm not as overwhelmed, because I'm like replacing them with like newer formulas. Hold on, let me just find it. Okay, and then two more ColourPop products, lip products anyway. The first one is ColourPop's Oh Snap Lippy Stick. And I forgot to mention this one because I forgot to grab it. But this is how much that I've used of this. I love this lippy stick as well, if you guys could tell. I probably will use this up at some point, but I've goaled myself to use this up like forever. I have to use it again soon. These are some of my favorite lipsticks ever. I love the MAC lipsticks, and I love this one. These are like my all-time favorites for like regular everyday nudes, but I just felt like I really needed to wear Raquel today. But This one, I actually had to end up decluttering Cookie, which is the other one that I was goaling myself to use up. Was that one I accidentally smashed in a video? I think I did it in a video where, like, I had it rolled up and I accidentally put the cap back on. Like, for some reason, I can't take this off. I put the cap back on as it was still rolled up. I have no idea why I did that. I was like, oh, it'll just go down by itself. And I was like, nope. So I kind of ruined that one. So that's the only reason why this one's the only one that's in here, because this was the other one that I goaled myself to use up. And then the last one is the ColourPop Ultra Matte Lip in the shade Last Dance. And I actually completely used up this lipstick. I'm very, very, very proud of myself. When you swatch it, there's barely anything that comes off. Like when you actually swatch it like this, nothing comes off. So yeah, that's it, you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So please like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, StevoU819, and my Twitter is PokerFace819, and my Snapchat is PokerFace819. And I can't wait to update you guys at the end of the year for my progress that I've made in all of these products and see what I've used up and what I've not. My mom is calling my name, I think. The only thing I wanted to show you guys is the empty bottle of the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I use this up constantly and I freaking love it. I just found it in my products I've used up bag. And that's it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry if I rushed through the little bit of the last half of it for the lipsticks, but I just felt like, you know, that I've been recording this video for like an hour already. So that's it. Bye!